Far above the forest floor, hidden deep within the upper reaches of the canopy, a multi-generational cycle begins. A female cicada lands on a small twig. Using a specialized needle-like tube called an ovipositor, she carves tiny, precise slits into the bark. Inside these protective grooves, she deposits her translucent eggs. Swaying in the wind, dozens of feet in the air, the eggs form a time capsule, suspended entirely out of reach from the predators prowling the ground below. This high-altitude beginning is a brief transition. Within weeks, the new generation will leave the sky to live in the dark earth below. When the microscopic nymphs finally hatch, they operate entirely on instinct. They crawl out of the bark, approach the edge of the branch, and simply let go. They are completely helpless as they free fall toward the forest floor, existing for a few seconds entirely at the mercy of gravity and the wind. To see how they survive what comes next, we have to look at their anatomy in this diagram. Unlike the delicate legs of an adult, the nymph possesses oversized claw-like forelegs. These thick, hooked appendages are specifically engineered for one task: excavation. Upon hitting the dirt, the nymphs immediately turn away from the light. They use those powerful front claws to burrow deep into the damp soil, tunneling downward until they find a secure tree root. By surrendering the sunlit world immediately upon birth, they evade the birds and wasps above, trading the open sky for the long-term security of the underground. Down in the subterranean root system, it is quiet and pitch black. The nymphs carve out small mud chambers alongside the roots, anchoring themselves in place. Nymphs spend these years actively feeding. They pierce the tree roots with their mouth parts to continuously drink the watery plant fluid known as xylem sap.
This animated timeline charts their underground existence. Above ground, the forest cycles through rapid seasonal changes. Below, nymphs grow at a glacial pace for 17 years. By emerging on prime number intervals, cicadas mathematically bypass the regular population booms of their predators. They wait so long that any specialist predator attempting to synchronize with their schedule would starve to death. Their extreme patience turns time itself into a physical shield. After nearly 2 decades in the dark, an environmental trigger finally breaks the waiting period. When the soil reaches a precise 64 degrees Fahrenheit, a biological alarm clock rings out across the entire brood. Under the cover of darkness, thousands of nymphs simultaneously claw their way out of the mud. They march across the forest floor in a synchronized wave, searching for the nearest vertical surface to climb. Once they secure a grip on a tree trunk, the mechanics of molting begin. The rigid, juvenile exoskeleton splits right down the center of the back. A soft, pale adult cicada slowly drags itself completely free from its abandoned golden shell, known as the exuviae, leaving the empty husk clinging to the bark. This transition leaves the insects soft and immobile. They must remain exposed on the bark for hours until their new exterior dries and hardens into a functional, winged form. As morning light hits the forest, the pale adults begin to transform. Fluid rapidly pumps into their crumpled wing veins, expanding them to their full size. The wings dry into stiff, glass-like membranes. Their surface is covered in microscopic spikes, a nanoscale texture that actively repels water and shreds bacteria on contact. Their bodies harden, turning dark green and black. With a violent snap of their new wings, they launch into the sky, leaving the dirt behind. This cross-section isolates the source of their iconic sound, the male's timbal organ. By rapidly buckling and unbuckling these ribbed muscular structures inside a largely hollow abdomen, they produce a mating call that can reach up to 100 decibels. The resulting chorus drowns out the entire forest. This summer noise is the victorious sound of an insect that has spent 17 years in development. The adults will inhabit the canopy for only 2 to 4 weeks. Their singular purpose in this brief window is to mate and deposit the next generation of eggs back into the branches. Having expended every ounce of energy stored over 17 years, they die rapidly.
Millions of bodies fall to the forest floor, where they decompose and return a massive pulse of nutrients to the soil. A creature that disappears into the earth only to rise up transformed years later deeply influenced ancient human mythologies. In Chinese traditions, these jade cicadas were often placed with the deceased. The insect's natural habit of shedding its physical shell made it a symbol of rebirth and the cyclical nature of life. A life spent almost entirely in the dark ensures a few weeks of activity in the sun. This biological strategy prioritizes the survival of the next brood, beginning another 2 decades of growth beneath the forest floor.